text messages a month. About 3,000. And I know that's just my son's text messages. So if you stopped texting of all teens, 19 and under, you could possibly put a company out of business. But we don't think that way. We're thinking independently. We're thinking in silos. And we're not connecting the dots that what we say we don't want, we have to stop watching it, eating it, buying it, doing it. It's really quite simple. I think I actually have a presentation. And what this does here, and I'm going to go over it really quickly for you, is it basically tells you what Nielsen does in a day. So in a day, we measure 40,000 television shows. We have 80,000 people meters located in homes around the United States. And yes, we get your permission before we put them in your home. There's no big brother. We have about 20,000 homes who have said, yes, I would like to have a Nielsen box in my house. And we do pay you. And we do ensure that you and our population is representative of our sample. The reason you may not know somebody in your neighborhood who's never been a Nielsen home, because I always get the neck moving when someone says that to me, is because we do ask our households to sign confidentiality agreements, because you're not supposed to know that there's a Nielsen box in your home. Okay? And then we also measure what's happening on 13,000 stations in the United States that are radio stations. Now, the reason we measure this and the reason your behavior is so important, because we talked about Nielsen's clients a little bit earlier, is because companies rely on us to tell them where you're shopping, why you decide to buy Dawn at Walgreens versus Walmart. And in order to entice you to buy that product, they put on a commercial. They spend about $70 billion on television alone for commercials. So someone did say earlier on the panel that Nielsen Ratings cancels programs. No. Nielsen has never, ever, ever canceled a show. The ratings may not be good for a particular show, but all we do is give our clients the information. They decide what to do with it. And I'll tell you another secret. Sometimes the ratings of some shows aren't that high, but you're buying products for the people who are advertising. So don't give Nielsen a bad rep. We're just the messenger. In one day, we actually, and this is, I talked about we measure what you watch and what you buy. And the first slide was on what you watch. This slide is also falling under our watch slide up to the second point. So recorded music purchases, we measure that from about 31,000 locations in the United States every single day. We measure the number of DVD sales from about 150,000 locations every single day. I ask you about toothpaste. I ask you about toilet paper because we measure where you're buying those things. And so we have about 125,000 Nielsen panelists, and yes, you can be one of them, who actually have scanners in their home. And whenever you go to the grocery store or drugstore or convenience store, you come back home, these 125,000 people scan those items for us. And that's how we know who's buying what. And that's how we know that blacks tend to spend more time in dollar stores and drugstores and spend more money there than they do in grocery stores. Some of that has to do with access. We know that if you build it, we will come. But if it's not in our neighborhoods, we're not going to necessarily be able to spend our dollars there. So that's something else we need to keep in mind. And then this last slide, in terms of what we measure in a given day, we, with the web surfing habits of 410,000 people,